What's up, everybody? This is Sean with Clean Command Auto Detailing based in Charleston, South Carolina. Today we're going to be going over a few things about ceramic coatings. A lot of people have questions. Is this better than PPF? Is this actually worth it? We're going to cover 5 main topics today. Number 1, what are the benefits of ceramic coating your car? Number 2, what are some cons to ceramic coating your car? Because there are going to be some cons. How difficult is it to find an installer to actually coat your vehicle in your area? What's going to qualify your vehicle to be a good candidate to be ceramic coated? Is that even a thing? And then lastly, is it worth it to get your car coated at all? So, a little bit about ceramic coatings. Ceramic coatings are a liquid coating that gets applied to the exterior of the car. In layman terms, a solvent essentially evaporates away, leaving a layer of quote-unquote ceramic or glass on the outside of the car. This is supposed to help with durability. This is supposed to do many benefits to the car. So what are some of these benefits? Well, it's an extra layer of protection for your vehicle, number 1. So you are going to get an extra layer of protection. This is going to help when it comes down to like UV light, sun exposure. It's going to repel water. It's going to do a bunch of things. So you essentially have an extra layer of clear coat in theory. So this isn't a clear coat, but you can think of it like an extra layer of clear coat, except this clear coat is much more hard. It's much more water resistant. So it really acts as a little force field around the outside of your car. Some more benefits is obviously that's going to be much more durable. So even like little rocks and things that would normally damage your vehicle, bug guts, bird crap, you name it, stuff that would get on the car that could damage that paint, is not going to be actually touching your clear coat and your paint. It's going to be on that coating, which again is more durable than the paint itself. So it is going to last longer. It's going to give you better shine. It does repel dirt and mud. So how does this happen? Well, the surface is much more slick. It's not as easy to bond to the surface of the vehicle, which in turn, is going to prevent it from sticking. Normally, when you get a lot of rain, when you get issues like this, mud, puddles, blah, 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 it's going to bond to the paint. With the ceramic coating, it's not going to be able to do so. It's way too slick. It's way too slippery. And so therefore, it's going to stay cleaner longer. It's going to be easier to clean, number 1. Well, not number 1. This is like number 4. It's going to be way easier to clean. Again, for the same properties, nothing can bond to the paint. It's far easier to clean because it's so hydrophobic, it's so repellent against contaminants that it's just extremely hard for stuff to truly stick to this car. You're not going to have to wax your vehicle either. Some guys do put wax on top of this, but this is open for discussion. There's a lot of guys that think you should. There's a lot of guys that think you don't. I'm in the boat that thinks you don't need to. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You're essentially putting a permanent layer of wax. It's, in my opinion, doing a better job than the wax itself. Maybe in theory, that's an extra layer of protection on top of your extra layer of protection. This has kind of become popular where you see guys PPF after they ceramic coat or vice versa. And then they still do things like wax it, still do measures beyond. Unless you're driving some kind of car that is super, unless you're driving a car that's super exposed and super rare and super expensive, or you need to do some sort of crazy multi-layer protection, I don't see where the benefit is. So in my opinion, you do not have to wax a car any longer. It will look new for a much longer time. Again, it's just how glossy it is. This thing is super glossy. It's not gonna make a matte vehicle glossy. It's not gonna make your trim glossy. It's gonna enhance whatever is actually there. But if a job is done correctly, as far as the paint correction and preparation in order to install the coating. The car's going to look like it's new for the lifetime of that coating. And it is cost effective because a lot of people think, oh my gosh, like on the front end, this ceramic coating is going to cost me, let's just say $2,000 for like a 10-year coating. Well, let's break this down. Like if you're spending for me to come out to detail your vehicle, twice a year at, let's just say $300 per visit. And now we're talking $600 per year, okay, for 10 years in theory to maintain that vehicle. That's $6,000. It's like, so, and not that you're not going to have to get the car detailed, but it would break down the cost of what's going to happen. Detailing a ceramic coated car versus detailing a car that has not been is wildly different. And it is going to be much more cost effective. It's going to save you at least double your money. You're going to save double what you'd spend on the coating, in my opinion. And so that's some of the benefits. There's some more benefits as well that we could delve into. I think we're already like almost 7 minutes here, so I don't want to make this video too long. What are some cons? Well, the cons is it's permanent for the most part. If applied incorrectly, you're going to see issues in it for a long time. If it's applied over existing issues, that's not going to be of any benefit to you. If you have big, horrible scratches in the car or discoloration, or if you ceramic coated over bugs, for instance, that's all going to be there for a long, long time. The other, downside to the ceramic coating, it's tough to really come up with downsides aside from how permanent they are. One con is that ceramic coating is pretty expensive. Okay, so on the front end, a lot of people don't want to pay, anywhere from $500 on like the low end, up to several $1,000s. A lot of people, that is just like out of their range. So that could be a con. It's not easy to apply if you're not experienced, but that's not really a concern for the customer. But I mean, maybe you're a DIY or you're wanting to do it yourself. It's not as hard to apply as it seems, but without some knowledge on preparation, application, and maintenance, it is going to be difficult to do. It does require extremely thorough paint prep. This is another downside. So when you're paying for ceramic coating, you're not necessarily just paying for the car to be coated, because almost all the cars that are going to get coated, they're going to want a thorough paint preparation, paint correction, paint enhancement, what have you, which is where most of this cost is being built, because you're doing so much thorough detailing on a car prior. They're not available to everyone, if that makes sense. So let's say you're a DIY, there's a lot of products you're not going to be able to get. I use System X among some other ceramic coatings, and some of these you're not going to be able to get unless you're a professional. Another downside would be water spots occur more easily. This is going to mess with some people's heads, because they go, how is it possible that water spots occur more easily when one of the benefits of ceramic coating is that it reduces water spots? The ceramic coating is extremely hydrophobic. So all water is going to beat up all over the car, and it's going to sit there in some cases on the hood, on the windshield. My car now that has coating is just always beat it up with water. There is a bright side to this, because when the negative of having beads of water all over your car all the time is that if they don't move and they evaporate, they leave behind water spots. This can be scary, but here's the difference. We even do ceramic coatings on shower glass. We do ceramic coatings in the house. I keep seeing a little fuzz flying through here. I don't know. It's freaking me out. Like there's a detailing ghost floating around. When we do shower glasses, why would I do shower glasses if it makes water spots more visible? Because the water spots aren't hard water spots. There is a massive difference. Hard water spots are mineral deposits left behind by that drop of water that are bonded to the clear coat, bonded to the glass, bonded to whatever surface they're on. Ceramic coatings, it is like impossible for them to bond. So you can, in theory, take a dry microfiber towel and lightly wipe water spots away. Or you simply rinse the vehicle, or you simply give it a quick wash. So these water spots are not impossible to remove. You don't have to buy water spot removal stuff. You don't have to try to polish it out. These water spots are barely sitting on the surface. So think of it like they're just perched on the surface of your vehicle versus being gripped into it like a normal hard water spot. And then, another downside is some of these coatings, let's say it's a 10-year coating. You might be upset when this coating is not effective in 7 years. How's this possible? It comes down to vehicle maintenance. Are you having a detailer come and maintain your vehicle? In a certain amount of time, are you allowing someone to come out, detail the vehicle to make sure that the coating's still working? This usually doesn't come down to faulty product. It usually doesn't come down to faulty installation. What it comes down to is cars sitting in the sun, never washed, or under a tree, hail. I mean, there's so many things that can happen to a car that are going to start to limit what that ceramic coating can do. So it's not a misleading claim or anything like that to say that these coatings are up to 10 years. I mean, you have to think they're designed to do that on an airplane in some cases. But how are airplanes kept? In a hangar. So this is the kind of thing you have to think about. Depending on your coating, it will depend, or depending on how you treat your vehicle, where the vehicle sits, the type of weather you're in, this can all have an impact on how long your coating lasts. You can think if we do a coating on someone's shower glass, it's going to last much longer than on the windshield of their car because of the exposure to the elements, speed, and things that are involved versus something that's sitting still. Okay, so how difficult is it to find an installer? This is a good question because depending on where you are, it could be impossible to find an installer. I'm from West Virginia originally. I beats me where an installer would be. You'd probably have to drive, into another state or at least to a major city, hours away to find a certified installer. Now, there are a lot of guys that say they're installers. There is really no way for you to weed through this. And there is a common misconception that only shops can do these coatings, which is a misconception. By the way, I'm going to make another video why shops kind of have a grip on the industry and are actually sort of robbing customers of some of the benefits of having a coating done at home, for instance, in their garage, for instance, versus the latter, or versus going to a shop paying extreme top dollar, and really the only thing you're paying for is what it looks like while it's being done. So to find an installer, you're going to want to find someone that is showing their work. This would be the main thing. Make sure that it is their work. Make sure they are showing that they do good work, not just we do coatings. You want to see photos, you want to see reviews, you want to see all these things in order to help you make a decision on whether or not this person is a viable option to install the coating. That is be the best way. And don't be scared because someone's mobile. As long as they do the proper steps and deliver on quality, you're going to be just fine. You don't need to go to a shop and get on a month waiting list. I know where we are. Of course, we're going to open a shop as well, but currently as a mobile service, I can do just about everything that these mobile shops do, aside from a few things like, PPF installation or wraps, a lot of tinting, some of these things where you're actually applying a film, or if anything could get between them, it could cause a big failure in that. So that's about the limiting factor. And you could do it, and there are guys that do it, but from my standpoint, it doesn't make sense to do those. But ceramic coating is quite different. You are going section by section while you're applying this. It does not need to be applied inside, as long as it's not in complete direct sunlight. and as long as there's no contaminants that are going to fall in the car while it's being done. And depending on the coating you're doing, the flash time, in layman terms, the dry to the touch time, is very quick. 1-year coating versus a 10-year coating, you're talking two wildly different flash times. But this thing starts to cure immediately and is going to be dry to the touch and immediately after it's installed. Is it cured completely? No. Should you take care of it? Yes. Should you do it if there's a big storm that night? No. So, do you have a garage you can keep it in that night? If you do, you should. Right? There are some steps to take, but do not be scared if someone comes to do it and they're mobile. If they have a tent, if they have an LED, if they have the machines, if they have the reviews, if they have the photos, and the work to back it up, that can be a good option. What qualifies your vehicle for ceramic coating? Well, this is a good question. Why would you ceramic coat a car that already has severe paint damage? In my opinion, you shouldn't. There's no point. Unless it's a paid off vehicle that you're trying to protect, trying to keep for the long haul, and you just say, okay, I'm tired of this starting to fail, we're just going to coat it and hope for the best. That could be a viable option. But normally, how does a car qualify? It has correctable paint damage for the most part. New cars qualify. Used vehicles qualify, like I said, as long as they're able to be corrected. And the real truth of this is all cars that you want to get coated technically qualify. There is no true qualification for this. It's going to be harder to find a detailer who's going to want to install a ceramic coating and paint correct a car if it is destroyed. Or they'll be happy to do it, but be prepared to pay a pretty penny. That is really what it's going to come down to. The worse your vehicle is, the more expensive this service is going to be, because it's all about the preparation of the service. So all vehicles qualify, but horrible vehicles qualify for higher prices. So do not forget that. And in a nutshell, do I think ceramic coatings are worth it? I love ceramic coatings. I think they're completely worth it. I think that if you're buying a new vehicle, if you just need protection, if you are someone that would like to keep your vehicle clean, doesn't have the time, if you're somebody that gets your car detailed all the time, and you're on a maintenance package, if you're someone that does it once a year, if you're somebody that does off-roading, if you're somebody that puts a lot of miles on a car, I think all those are avatars where ceramic coatings are applicable and where they're extremely worth it. I think to the average person, they would underestimate the benefits of the coating. The ability to keep the car clean is bar none. The ability to keep the car's paint from fading, to keep the headlights from fading, to keep the windshield clean and clear. Overall, I think a ceramic coating is 9 out of 10 worth it. I hope you found this video useful today. I'm going to make some more videos about ceramic coating, mobile versus a shop, but I hope you found this interesting and informative on whether or not you should maybe get your car ceramic coated or do it. 100%, I think it's worth it. And I appreciate you guys for sticking around to the end. Make sure to like and subscribe if this is on YouTube, if this is on TikTok or Instagram. Give us a follow and a like.